It is I've given, sir. Sir, it is streaming, sir. Kindly ask somebody to check it out, sir, please.
Okay.
It has come for me. I can see Hari sir's screen. Sir, it is streaming, sir.
It's streaming. Okay, madam, you start.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Good evening, one and all present here. On behalf of Management, PSNA College of Engineering and Technology, Alumni Association, I welcome you all for this webinar season, Climbing the Peak in Your Own Job Interview, a 6-week webinar series. We have completed 4 weeks webinar sessions and we are in the 5th week of 10th session. This series of webinar is conducted on behalf of PSNA College of Engineering and Technology, Alumni Association. At this moment, I would like to thank our Pro-Chairman, Rotarian RSK Raghuram Sir, our Principal, Dr. D. Vasudevan Sir, Alumni Association Coordinator, Dr. R. Kannan Sir, HOD Mechanical Engineering, for their continuous support in conducting this webinar series. Special thanks to our proud alumni 1996 batch for bringing these opportunities to our students and for making this event a grand success. Today's session is on group discussion, workshop, key techniques. We have 4 eminent speakers, experts from various fields here. Now, I would like to introduce today's speakers. Mr. Srikanth Nagarajan, founder, CEO, Gandiva Networks. He is a CEO managing the go-to-market strategy, business development, in addition to actively oversee and manage the various customer cybersecurity program. He also serves as principal security consultant for various clients in public sector and software service areas. He has served as CISO advisor in multiple engagements and instrumental in establishing the New York City Cyber Security Program and E911 Cyber. He has over 25 years of IT industry experience in network operations and engineering, security engineering, and information security management. He is an alumni of College of Engineering, Guindy, and he has mentored CEG students for campus mock interviews and communication skills. We welcome you, sir. Our next speaker, Mr. Subramaniam Kalyanasundaram, Senior Solution Architect, AT&T USA. He has experience of over 20 years in IT solution development, and he had played multiple roles in his career, including developed lead, business analyst, product manager, and enterprise architect. He has a strong passion to coach and mentor next generation of students and millennials. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, Mr. Senthil Kumar Pillai, IT Relationship Manager, Tata Consultancy Services, USA. He is an IT Relationship Manager with more than 14 years of experience working for large Indian IT companies in the banking and financial services industry and provides contextualized transformation solutions. We welcome you, sir. Our next speaker, Mr. Hari Subramanian, our proud alumnus of 1996 batch. He is a director, Group Finance IT, UBS Financial Services, New York. After his graduation from PSNA, he studied CDAC from Pune for 6 months and had worked in CPCS, Bangalore for few years. For last 20 years, he worked in multiple firms in USA. We welcome you, sir. We are very happy to have you all here, sir. Once again, I welcome you for this webinar series. And without further delay, I hand over the session to the speakers. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari, unmute.
Unmute, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Hari.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Katya ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. Thanks for all the speakers today, our distinguished speakers, Mr. Subbu Kalyan Sundram, Srikant Nagarajan, and Sendil. Welcome today. We want to sincerely thank on behalf of the alumni, our PSNE CET Management Chairman, Dr. Raghuram Sir, Principal Dr. D. Vasudevan Sir, and our alumni head, Dr. R. Kannan Sir, for giving us the opportunity to help our students with knowledge that they need from an industry perspective and their personality development perspective, so that when they go for job interviews, they can create an edge for themselves, they can stand out and succeed in the job interviews and in their career and personal life. This is the dream team. We have been having our 10th webinar as part of this 6-week series. Thanks to our webinar coordinators team led by our HOD sir, Dr. R. Kannan and Mr. Hari Kannan sir. Thank all the webinar coordinators listed on the slide, Dr. Sridhar sir, Marilyn ma'am, Jamuna ma'am, Saravanan sir, Subhaya sir, Vishwanath sir, and Pal Pandey sir. On the civil and the other coordinators, including Mr. Ranjit Babu sir, Sabarisan, Chaladare sir, Karthikevel, Dr. R. Karthikeyan, Ms. Karthika, Sriram sir, Vinodini, and Dr. Sindhya ma'am. Without the effective coordinators, this would not be a seamless webinar. And thank you for all the behind the scene contributions and making such a webinar series wonderful and pleasure to watch throughout. So thank you for coordinating and managing. I would like to just quickly recap what we have done in the last 5 weeks. First, we introduced a strategy called PALM strategy by PSNA Alumni Leadership and Mentoring Initiative Team. PALM stands for, in Tamil, it's a helping hands, Udavum Karangal. So PALM stands for presentation, awareness, leadership, and managing people and team. If every student creates the conglomerate of these ideas from these different facets of their skills, they could come up with a personalized plan and strategy to succeed in the interviews. So on week 1, we focused on personality development and presentation skills. And week 2 and week 3, we focused on industry awareness and leadership skills. Week 4, we focused on our leadership skills and building the good resume and succeeding in interviews from our HR specialist. And this week, we have been focusing on group discussion. And yesterday, we had a good presentation on how a business works and how a ERP solution is useful for business and how business analytics is helpful to make decisions. So these were our past speakers on every week, talking on entrepreneurship, leadership, and enterprise architect, cloud, infrastructure engineering, and machine learning. And we had speakers talking about building the resumes and interviewers and job expectations. Yesterday, we had speakers talking about business analytics and ERP. And today we have distinguished speakers to facilitate group discussion and tips and techniques to succeed in group discussion. In addition to these initiatives, in order for our students who come from Tamil medium or who are looking to improve their communication skills in English, we have been having, every week, we have been having an online webinar Toastmaster session starting at 4:30 to 5:30 IST or 7 to 8 EST. There are a lot of alumni mentors and external speakers who are mentoring our current students to help them grow their communication skills in English. As part of that, we also have a mobile app downloadable in App Store and in Google Play Store. The app name is PSNA CET Connect. It is available for all the students and alumni to network and interact with each other, and all the staffs to publish the communications and interact with each other. So download the app and stay tuned for the updates that you get about PSNA College and all the other activities. And it also gives you a platform to interact with your past alumni and talk with them as a mentor. With that, I've been introducing one book a session to make every student have a habit of reading a book. So today's session, I would like to introduce the book, How to Win Any Argument by Robert Mayer. Now for group discussion, you need to convey your ideas in a more constructively and convincing manner. And how to win an argument. Should you raise your voice? Should you lose your cool? Or if someone counteracts, should you just budge and keep your head down? No. Even without raising your voice, even without losing your cool, even facing opposition statements, you still can win any argument if you follow some of the guidelines that are given in the book. The first thing in order to win any argument is to stay calm, stay cool. How much ever you are prepared for an argument, whatever experience your life has taught you so far, those experiences most of the time will be sufficient to handle any future experience. And if you want to develop yourself more, you need to continuously learn and gain more ideas and more skills. So the first thing is maintain calm, have self-control, don't lose your temper. If someone criticizes, if someone appreciates or flatters, don't lose your head, stay calm. That's the first thing in order to win any arguments with others. Once you are in your comfort zone, in your calm and control zone, you will be able to start listening to others. Before you speak out your ideas, before you broadcast your ideas, say it once, but listen twice. Listen others' ideas twice, and then understand how you want to make your counter argument or how you want to add inputs to those arguments. And for any prepared meeting, if you know that you're going to have a conversation or meeting in advance, prepare yourself. Write down your thoughts into paper. Write down your top 3 arguments or top 3 ideas that you are planning to convey into that meeting and create those bulletproof arguments. And say it to yourself, talk with your peer or talk with your friend and make sure that whatever you're saying is sounding right. When you have that sounding right logical reasoning, most of the time that becomes your strongest arguments in front of others. And you should know what to say, when to say, and when not to say. All these things, along with choosing the words, choosing carefully the phrases, and knowing the audience that who you are talking with, knowing the people who are present in the meeting, and thinking from their perspective, what would they be expecting from you? What are the questions that you should expect so that you can prepare your answers? This book has a wonderful set of ideas, very easy to read. It gives you confidence once you read, once you have the ideas, it gives you confidence on how to win any argument. Robert Mayer, wonderful book. If you have a library, keep this book with you. If you don't have a library, start your book library with this book. It's very wonderful. With that, I would like to introduce our today's agenda, group discussion workshop. It's going to be led by Mr. Sendil, Mr. Srikanth, and Mr. Subbu. And they're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of group discussion. And they are going to facilitate 2 group discussion on 2 topics. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a learning experience. It's going to be an interesting experience. The experts are coming with different sets of experience with their 20 to 25 years of industry experience. And I'm excited to learn, and I hope you do. With that, I hand over the stage to Mr. Srikanth. Thank you, Srikanth.
Thank you very much, Hari.
Thank you.
And thanks for the great introduction, Ms. Karthika ma'am. Very good evening to all the students and the faculty, and a good morning to the folks in US. I'm Srikanth. I'll be facilitating the group discussion session today, along with Senthil and Subbu. I'm grateful for the organizers, really, for this wonderful opportunity to share some of our experiences. As mentioned before, I'm from Guindy Engineering College, and I currently work in the field of cybersecurity. One thing I want to really mention is really applaud the foresight of the PSNA College faculty, management, in engaging the alumni in such a productive way. It's very unique, and I've not seen it happen in many colleges in India. I think the students are really lucky to have such an excellent program, and I hope you all take advantage of this and come out with flying colors. And kudos to all the great efforts by the PSNA alumni. Everybody's putting together a great program for all of you. Today we'll be talking briefly about importance of communication by relating using a case study method. And then I'll also be talking about importance of personal communication and how do you communicate about yourself as part of this. First, we'll be talking about a case study that was conducted in Korea. The airline, Korean Airlines, was having safety problems for many years. Between 98 and 99, the Korean Airlines had a loss rate of 5 flights per million departures, which means that it was roughly 20 times more than any American carrier, like United Airlines or others, during the same period. So it was a very infamous safety record. And it was also a national shame for the country because it's such a bad record. So they were trying to figure out what has to be done in order to fix this issue. By 99, their safety records significantly improved. And in 2006, they in fact got an award for one of the safest airlines, the Phoenix Award. So what really happened in this transformation is what we're going to talk about. One of the person hired to fix this was David Greenberg. What he did was he made one very simple change, but a crucial change in the organization by training everybody to communicate, the pilots, co-pilots, communicate in English language, which they were uncomfortable with to begin with. And that changed their overall attitude, and that's how they were able to get over this problem. One of the observations from the case study was the lots of crashes was happening because the co-pilots were not articulating their point of view due to the hierarchical nature of their culture. So culturally, they always look up, in a sense, if let's say you're a senior, you're a junior, or you're more experienced, they never communicated to their seniors if there was a mistake. So whenever, the interesting thing was, whenever the pilot was in charge of the flight, who was supposed to be 2 or 3 times more experienced than the co-pilots, there were more losses. They were wondering what's happening because you're supposed to expect the experienced person to be able to handle it better. What was really happening in the background was whenever the pilot was in charge, the co-pilots would never communicate if there was any mistakes to the pilot because of fear as well as respect towards somebody who's hierarchically higher, because that's culturally, that's how they were grown up, right? However, when the co-pilots were in charge, the pilots would freely express what mistakes were happening, and they were able to correct it and not cause any type of loss. So by changing the medium of communication between them in English, training everybody to speak in English, what happened was every single individual got a unique identity of themselves, and their identity changed, the relationship changed between the two parties, the pilots, co-pilots. They all worked together as peers, as opposed to thinking that I'm lower or higher in any of those communications. That allowed them to be more loyal to the company, at the same time communicate if any mistakes were happening. So this is something that always happens in other organizations too. This trend is common in organizations. And that's why it's very important to have communication both within your peers and up towards your seniors as well as towards your juniors in a very equal way, right? So employee wants to contribute to an organization. The best ways to demonstrate your loyalty is by allowing your trust to flow in all directions. That means sometimes it might be also challenging judgment of your seniors because you may have something unique to offer that will improve the overall company's bottom line or improve the way they do things, right? So that's why it's important to have that communication going. So the 3 points I would like you to take away from this incident. The first is everyone has something unique to offer in their life, and it is the responsibility to develop those gifts. Every single person that you meet will have something that you don't know. So it's always keep your minds open to learn from others. At the same time, remember that you also have something unique to offer. So that keeps you like not at a lower level from anybody, so you'll be able to contribute. And honest disagreement is often a good sign of progress, right? So like Hari said in a lot of good points from the book, when you disagree, you can always disagree in a respectful way. Can also, doesn't mean that if you're disagreeing with somebody, it means you are antagonizing them or you're trying to not be friendly with them. You're disagreeing on an idea. Personality is an idea you have to separate. So as a person, you may be friendly with the person, but you may not agree upon an idea. So you can always disagree on an idea. So that's how we have to look at it. And in a teamwork, this is very important. Why do we even talk about group discussion? Why do we even talk about today? We are talking about how you communicate. How do you communicate within a group? How do you communicate personally? It's very important to understand that being silent, oh, maybe this guy is silent, oh, I want to be nice because I don't want to look like I'm the guy who's talking and bringing up issues, maybe I'll be looked at badly. That's not true. In a team environment, it's so important that you communicate, and that will lead to the success of the team. So as an individual, you can be talented. As a talented person, you can win a game. However, as a team, you can win a championship. That's what you want to go for. So now let's go to just personal communications. We talked about group communications, and that's where we're going to talk about in group discussion. Let's talk about how you personally communicate to the world. So you as an individual exist, but how does the world know about you? So you're there, you're doing certain things, you have so many skills, you have learned so many things. How does the world know about you? That's what is called personal branding. Remember, you as an individual have the same access to let the world know about you like anybody else. It could be Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, or it could be the Prime Minister of India or US. You have the same access. In today's context, it's a level playing field. And if you do not take advantage of this, you're only limiting yourself, right? Do you see marketing yourself as boasting? Sometimes this is something that we come from our culture, right? We don't want to talk too much about what you are and what are your capabilities. So do you see, sometimes we do see that. I've been in that shoes, right, myself. Do you get annoyed at people who promote themselves? Oh, this guy is boasting too much about himself. We'll see how to do that without making it look like you are too much speaking about yourself. Do you feel uncomfortable talking about yourself? Sometimes when they ask you, oh, tell me about yourself, that's the worst question an interviewer asks you. Are you comfortable speaking about yourself? You be genuine about yourself, then you're going to be more comfortable about yourself. Do you tell yourself, oh, you're too modest, shy, introverted, humble, tell people about yourself? If that describes you, if you answered yes to any of these questions, congratulations. Your less competent person next sitting you who talked about them got the job, right? So what it really means is we all have skills. Only if we tell what skills are there, only if you as a person, you are the person who are going to speak about you, will anybody know about what you are capable of. Unless you communicate, how would anybody know what you're capable of? And that's the most important thing. So what we call a self-promotion or self-branding is about strategically building your brand to ensure that you communicate what you can accomplish in your career to somebody who is willing to help you. So let's say I'm willing to help you. Unless you tell me what you're currently capable of and what you want to accomplish, how is somebody going to be able to help you? So that's what this all is about. It's not about, oh, I'm so great. Everybody has unique skills. And you also want to respect the fact that others bring in a lot of skills. And you want to make sure that you respect that as well. Now we'll do a quick survey, Subbu, about social media.
Yeah.
So we're going to send this poll to everybody on the Zoom meeting.
as well as in the YouTube link Hari will share. So we want everybody to participate, right? This is just a simple poll. We want to understand how many of you has the LinkedIn profile set up, right? So this help us in the next conversation Srikanth is going to have about LinkedIn and how it's going to help us. If hope most of you will know what the LinkedIn is and all that. Just answer a quick poll. Make sure we all participate in this.
Thank you, Subbu. Okay, we'll wait for the results, but in the meantime, let me go into the next part of the presentation. So, Hari, you can share that link on the YouTube also. Thank you.
Yeah,
So now social media presence. Why do we need to be in the social media, right? Especially in the context of you students. Well, how does it apply to you? 94% of the recruiters use LinkedIn to recruit new candidates. This is all Indian statistics. 79% of job seekers use the social media to find jobs, right? This is a new way things are happening. It's not using the traditional methods anymore. You're not sending your email of your resume. People are looking you up before they even talk to you. So people have access to more information about you through your social media before they even talk to you. They know about you before they talk to you. KPMG India reckons that 80% of the companies use social media for recruitment. Companies sometimes not only look at the LinkedIn profile, they also look at your Twitter and Facebook profiles before they actually call you for interviews. Sometimes they want to make sure that you're not associated with any type of radical ideas or things that is in your Facebook profile. Twitter talks a lot about you. So you want to make sure, especially when you are in college, you're putting something that is like really reflective of what you do and what your values are. People are trying to look at that and determine what type of person you are, and are you suitable for that type of a job. So think before you post in any of these. It also is being looked at. Another thing I would recommend is especially for software type jobs, you want to have a GitHub account, which allows you to post any of your software or open source software that you've developed, or it could be a simple tool, like you could have developed a script, or you could have developed some new technique to do something in computer programming, or you could have been a simple tool. Share that. So share that with the world, because people want to know that you are willing to share things with everybody. It's about the process of sharing and working collaboratively, ability to share. That mentality is what people are looking for. That you're able to work as a team. So this itself shows that you're able to work as a team. And a lot of the software jobs, they ask you to show your GitHub profile. So what you can do is you can put your GitHub profile in LinkedIn, and so people can take a look at your comprehensive profile while you're applying for the job. So this is even applicable even for campus students. Doesn't matter. Don't think that, oh, this is all applicable only after I start getting into the first company. Applies as much to college students as much to anybody working in a professional environment right now. So we'll just go through a quick checklist of what you want to do with LinkedIn. So use, I'm sure everybody's familiar with LinkedIn. You can go to linkedin.com. It's one of the world's largest professional networking sites. You can create a LinkedIn profile, use a professional photo. It doesn't have to be like you have to wear a suit to take a picture of yourself. It can be professional, and as long as you're in a business type dress, that should be fine. Write an intro, your education, including your high school, higher secondary. If there's any accomplishments you did in that, it will be relevant to put in there. You have any other extracurricular activities, you can put all those things in there. A lot of times it's very important to mention your college schools as well, because some of the alumni from your schools may be also related industries that you want to work with, or they may try to search you by the school, so they will find you. That you can always get back into your other classmates. And also put some information about the industry you're interested in and the industry that you're currently working on. That would be useful for associating yourself with any groups that are formed in the industry related to the area you're working on, and also helps you to find content in LinkedIn based on the industry. And your contact info is important because you want to have the ability to receive any emails. You can either put your personal email or create a separate email for that. So it's completely up to you. But you do need to have a contact email at least so that people can reach you. And write a nice summary. Don't use the summary generated by LinkedIn. It just summarizes everything you have and summarizes it. But you want to write your nice summary. It's kind of like a letter you write to your HR when you're applying for a job. So make it look nice. Have some few people review it when you're writing the summary. Have your friends review it. See if it's reflective of you, really reflects you, as well as if you want to maybe have some of your, if somebody willing to, some of your alumni willing to help you review that, that's fine too. But make it look real, the experience, everything matters. Like, you know, even if you did a small project, nothing is too small. Whatever you've done through your life, it's a capture of all your values, all your skills you've developed, all the academic achievements you've done. Put in all your information about your courses you've taken. Even you can put in your GPAs. If you, whatever GPAs you got, you can put in there. The individual courses matter. Some of them, companies are looking for people with a specific experience. If they, let's say, if you have done particular course in Python or Java, so if they're looking for somebody with that experience, they can straight away, it highlights, they can directly hire you, right? Add your experiences, even if you've done some internship or volunteer work or some type of nonprofit work, or you have helped somebody, like, you know, you could have helped a friend with coming up with something, or you helped somebody do a small project, like let's say you did a Photoshop for a event, like for this event, somebody did a Photoshop of the brochures, or you helped with the PowerPoint, or you helped with setting up the Zoom. That's a skill, right, in itself. It helps in the official environment. So people take value of that. So I would request you to like add all those experiences, anything that you have a skill, and list your skills and courses. And another thing that's very important with LinkedIn is it allows you to claim a custom URL. So when you go in there, register, you based on your first and last name, it gives you a random URL, but you can also see if you can have your own URL, like with your full name. What it allows you to do is when somebody searches you in Google, let's say you're a recruiter from a company or a HR, it allows them to directly find you using the full name. So that's something that's recommended. And another thing is share and connect with your alumni. So it's very important as all the alumni is trying to reach you in that direction, and they're trying to find you, they're coming and doing all these programs. At the same time, once the program is completed, there will be a gap until the next program comes in, right? So you want to keep in touch. Once it's completed, what are you doing? You can put your things like if you're reading a book, you can put the book, or if you're doing some activities in your college related to the areas we talked about, or you're having a Toastmaster club meeting, or you're having some type of event where you're presenting a paper, please do summarize that paper, what you have presented, where did you present it, and put it into your profile and keep the up-to-date regularly. So that allows you to build a nice profile while you're ready to apply for your job. You've seen all the history that's happened over a period of time. And people want to see history over a period of time because it is not like you're going to do anything overnight, right? It is what you do on a daily basis matters, and how you build that towards where you want to be. So it's very important to show that progress. So with this, we'll go to the, and of course, do it now. If people who have not done it, we have sent a survey right now for LinkedIn. If you have not signed up with LinkedIn, I would strongly recommend everybody to sign up. Doesn't matter which branch you are in, you should definitely sign up. And now we'll be sending a second question, just a brief information about you. I will send this to the LinkedIn, Zoom group first, and then Hari, if you can share with,
yeah, I'm sharing it in the YouTube channel. Yeah.
okay.
Please go ahead. I think We have
Yeah.
another 5 more minutes to complete the presentation and start the group discussion.
Sure. Okay, with that, that's my presentation. So we will review the results of the survey at the end of the presentation. And I'll now hand over to Senthil, who will take us through some of the tips for group discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Srikanth. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. So very good evening to the faculty and the students from PSNA College and my esteemed colleagues here in the US. Good morning. As part of group discussions, I'm just going to review some of the do's and don'ts that we need to focus on. This list is not exhaustive. It is not the complete list of do's and don'ts, but the key points that will help you start off in the right foot. So just going by some of these key do's, we need to ensure that we listen to the subject carefully. There might be very different scenarios where we talk about something and somebody else misunderstands that as something else. So make sure that you listen to what is the topic, what is the subject, and understand exactly what it means. If you are not aware, you can always ask. Okay, don't hesitate. Please do make notes. So one recommendation that I do to my team that who joins my company and other groups is make sure that you have a small piece of paper or small chit or paper that you can write on. Take a pen or a pencil. Keep it with you always. You don't know when you want to write notes, when it will be useful. Make sure you make your thoughts into the paper and keep those ready. Don't write big sentences, just some keywords. Initiate the discussion if you know what the subject is. So assuming that you know the subject and you have some points to talk about it, you actually go ahead and start the discussions by yourself, right? And same way, in the other way, if you don't know the subject, let people who know the subject start it. So that you will see in the don't section. If you're not able to get an actual grip of the subject, look at other people who are speaking, listen to them carefully, try to understand what the subject is about, and start making notes on relevant points that you can bring out during that time that you get to prepare. Support your points with some facts and figures. If you have some statistics or some latest article that is published and verified that you went through in Google or in the social media or something like that, where you have done some analysis or somebody else has done and you have seen it, you can mention those facts and figures. That will add more value to your statements, your comments. Make short contributions. This is very important. You don't want to have a monologue. You need to have interaction while having a group discussion. You don't want to simply go ahead and start talking and talking without having a pause. So what I would recommend is we need to have 25 to 30 seconds of discussions, depending on the overall GD time frame. Sometimes it might be limited to 15 seconds to 20 seconds based on how you, the overall time that we have for the group discussion. Then the most important thing that I feel, I personally recommend this to my larger group, is that identify people by their name. It is very important to have a name of a person. They are not furniture, right? They are people. They have a lot of sentiments, and that gives some sense of involvement when you want to address people by name. So always look at their name tag or try to observe and find their names, because you'll mostly be sitting in a forum. If it's an online forum, it is easy. We make sure that people have their full name mentioned in the chat, so we can understand who's speaking when their name pops up. Give others a chance to speak. Don't completely occupy the meeting or the group discussion. You need to make sure that you give everybody a chance to speak, and you have to speak very politely and pleasantly, just like how Hari and Srikanth was mentioning earlier. We need to speak politely, pleasantly, and respect others. Even if it's a negative point or a positive point, you need to be very polite in that. Keep eye contact. Even in a virtual environment, look at the camera, look at the people who are there in the chat with you. If you see a video, look into their eyes and speak. This will actually add a lot of value and create a sense of interaction between the two parties that are speaking, or more than two people who are speaking. Then again, as mentioned earlier, disagree politely. Don't be very aggressive when you're trying to put down saying somebody's wrong. At the same time, you also have to encourage what you know and what you agree as right. Make sure you do that. And at the end of a group discussion, if nobody has summarized, it's very good idea to actually summarize what is the overall discussion points that we had. So definitely making notes, taking notes of who spoke what is the overall topics that is discussed, the key points. It will be good to summarize. If somebody has summarized it, it's okay. If somebody has not, you can always take the lead and do it. Next slide, Shrikant. Yeah, these are the key don'ts, right? So again, this is not exhaustive. It is some of the key points that we observe on a day-to-day basis about what we should not do during a group discussion. So again, as you mentioned in the do's, don't initiate a discussion if you don't have sufficient knowledge about a given topic, right? That is very important. Don't keep on speaking, that's going to, people is going to feel bored. People might not get an opportunity to talk. Your fellow colleagues and your fellow friends might not get an opportunity to talk. Never argue or shout during a group discussion. Always be polite. Don't look at an evaluator or a particular person who is evaluating you, right? Look at the entire group, your fellow participants, your fellow, the evaluators, or even you can, when you look in the sky or look here, just looking in the ceiling, keep moving your eyes. Don't focus on one thing and talk. Keep moving, keep moving. And don't talk irrelevant things to distract and to sort of take away the attention of the discussion. We are here to share our thoughts, our point of view. It is not an argument. Do not pose any negative body languages, like it's mentioned over there, right? So don't touch your nose, don't lean back, don't shake your legs. All these are things that people will observe, right? Are you playing with your pen? Are you just tapping on the table? Is it disruptive? All these things they will take a look of. And don't mention any erratic statistics. So while you mention statistics, you also need to have some level of understanding if that statistics is accurate at some level, right? So even if you take the example of the COVID, I was mentioning this to one of my friends. We know that US is leading the overall number of patients that came out with COVID. But at the same time, we don't want to say that, well, India is far behind. India is lagging. India is very well better than US. We know that India is number 3 now, and you don't want to give erratic statistics based on the information that is out there and available to the public. And again, as Shrikant rightly pointed, we don't want to go ahead and show low self-confidence. We need to be strong. We need to be confident. And remember, everybody sitting over there are also equally afraid and also equally looking at speaking. So it's what you have in your head that is going to take you forward. So if you think that you can do it, you have to do it and you will do it. Don't try to dominate the discussion. That is something that we see. If people who are very good at speaking or people who understand the topic very well, they try to dominate the discussion. This puts the other people in a back pedal. So if you are one of the dominant people, try to hold back, try to restrict your discussions to the points you have, stay within the 15, 20, 30 seconds speech time frame that you have, and give others a chance. And don't put other people in embarrassing situations. Well, if somebody is not able to answer, somebody is not able to bring up some points, always be accommodative. That shows how much you are a good leader, a good team player. Try to give some common topics or give some common comments that can be used by the people who have not yet spoken yet. Okay, so these are the key do's and don'ts that you need to do when you're having a group discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Senthil. Subbu, could you please start
Thank
describing the panel?
Thank you, Senthil, Shrikant, for an excellent overview and guidance. Good evening, PSNA faculty and management. Hello, the next generation leaders. So are you all excited to have a group discussion, which in a turn you already started talking, which we did yesterday. So we have the first topic, right? Impact of COVID in job markets in India and world. So as you know, COVID has both negative and positive side to it, right? In terms of the new jobs it's creating, in terms of the virtual world or the conferencing or the online training or even the e-commerce market. So there are two sides to this. So we want each of the speakers we will announce, basically take 30 seconds to give your views. As we said before, relax, cool, and make sure you talk clearly slowly, okay? Don't rush. We have 30 seconds. You can give your viewpoints within that. And then you would hear a bell or the next speaker will be announced, and then you can say thank you. So you can start with a conversation, hi, I am, and then you can start giving your viewpoints. So be confident, and this is just internally within the group we are doing it, and you're going to have these kind of more sessions that you can also practice within your group, right? This is just an exercise that we want to do. That way you feel more confidence. The more you do this, you're going to get better at it, right? So since we have given the topics now, so you had some time to prepare, as Senthil and Srikanth said, in the actual group discussion, you may be given a topic on the fly, right? You may be given 2 minutes to 5 minutes to prepare. So take quick points, try to give your views based on the points that you have taken, and wait for the second opportunity. If you cannot cover all your points, give the opportunity for others to talk. Then you can always come back for the second opportunity to give your views. Best of the luck. And again, take your time, relax, and we are all confident you can do better with GD. Thank you. With that, Srikanth, if you can start announcing each of the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Subbu. So we'll just go by the list of alphabetically how many people are here. So hope you're all excited to have a discussion about this current topic. I'm sure all of you have faced something personally. You may have a lot of experiences that you can share. So let's start with Arun S. Could you start, please?
Hi, sir.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Can I start, sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hi, I am Arun, and I am from Department of CSE. And I would, and today's topic about impact of COVID in job markets in India and world. So I conclude this, and I have a positive thought that there will be a boom in a local business after this pandemic, which will create more job opportunities in every countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go
Thank
to Alagu Meenakshi.
No, she's a faculty. She's an alumni. So
Deepa Shri.
I'm Deepashri. We had a really bad situation due to the corona pandemic, but still, corona is a very good time where we can think about a career change also. For example, edutech is also blooming during the pandemic. Also, people are working from home. So even though the pandemic has not stopped, likewise, our dedication to the work has also not stopped. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that. Let's go to Imran Khan. Can we hear from you?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm Imran Khan, department. In COVID-19 in India, job loss is the most severe immediate impact of COVID-19 crisis, while lower economic growth and rise in inequality would be the long-term effects, according to a survey by Indian Society of Labor Economics. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Absolutely. I think that's a very valid point. The situation with the migrant workers, people who are working in the non-organized sector, are definitely something that needs to be talked about. Let's go to Jayashree.
Hi, I'm Jayashree. Thank you, Imran, for sharing your views. I would say that the most impacted sectors are aviation, travel, hospitality, and automotive sectors. It also has the advantageous side. As a student pursuing biomedical, I would say that it would bring a great revolution in the field of research activities, such as drug development and so on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your views. Can we go to Kishon?
Hi everyone, I'm Kishon from MCA department. The topic, due to the corona impact of COVID-19 in India, there was a loss of employee was created a long-term impact, mostly like in urban economy and rural economy also. Most of them are self-employees, they are losing their job. But in India, India has a well-growing economic and all type of industries and good amount of exports. Due to this COVID-19 is also make a slowdown the industry. Most of the industries like automobile industries, textile industries, chemical industries, manufacturing industries, they are trying to, when they are trying to make a move to technical platform, that means IT industry, they get a huge number of support from the IT industries like automations, artificial intelligence, mobile app developments, infrastructure supports. These leads the industry to develop developments and support from the IT industries to develop their industries, and it also increase the productivity in the lockdown period. Thank you, sir.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, so let's hear what are the different fields. That's a good point you brought out. The IT has a lot of jobs because everybody's working remote. That's a good point. Can we go to Linu Ratna?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I'm Linu from EC department. The estimates of job loss show that 80% were affected in urban economy, most of which was self-employed. Even though, but it was well known that essential services such as medical and public health continue to drive their demand. Despite all these, healthcare continues to be one of the foremost drivers of economic growth. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can we go to Logita Sri?
Hi, sir. I'm Lokita Shri from Information Technology Department. According to my point of view, the impact of COVID actually differs for each sectors. There are both benefits and losses, and I want to concentrate on the positive side of COVID in job markets. We have come across a lot of situations due to this COVID, and one among them is that many companies have planned to invest in our country. This will be a great opportunity for job seekers since there will be a demand of increase in production. Therefore, manufacturing can be increased and circulation of our own developed products can be done. So this will lead to a great opportunity in our country. Thank you.
Excellent point, Logesh. That is very true. It's going to increase more of jobs coming into India. That's going to help us to grow and also produce more. Excellent.
Let's move on to Madhubala P.
Warm greetings to all. I'm Madhubala from the EEE department. Only if there is life, there will be livelihood. A few are suffering economically, as Imran said, a few were personal losses, and a few are suffering mentally to accept the new normal. There are daily news charts, models which are making us go crazy. The regular routine of office is completely changed to work from home environment, and keeping both home and office balance is really difficult. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to Mahaprabhu.
Hi, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, sir. I am Mahaprabhu from ECA department. The major impact of COVID-19 loss is job loss. According to CMIE report, it says that Indians' urban unemployment rate soars to nearly 30.9%, even as overall rate rises to 23.4%. In our country, the job loss is the major crisis of COVID-19, and the unemployment rate rises to nearly 23.4%. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's a very good point. In fact, urban unemployment in March 2020 was 30%. It went all the way up to 30%. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go to Mahashri.
Good evening, sir. I am Mahashri Sundareshwari from EC department. As Mahaprabhu said, in our country, job loss is the most affect. It is the COVID-19 has affected this sector. But we can take this period as a valuable period, and we can learn new skills, so that after this pandemic, surely we will there is a increase in job recruitment, so that we can make ourselves ready for that phase. So I consider this as a valuable point. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's go to Nabila.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
In my perspective, after this pandemic gets over, medical related companies will offer a great job opportunities, and also working from home will be increased. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Padma Devika, could you please share your thoughts?
Good evening to one and all present here. I am Padma Devika from Information Technology. Everyone knows well about COVID-19 and how fast it is spreading. I hope you are all safe. COVID increases the rate of remote workers. It also changed many IT fields from visual works to virtual works. People and organizations are beginning to change their traditional approach. They are trying to adopt themselves to virtual approaches. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's hear from Nandini. Can we hear from Pavitra Parameswaran?
Greetings to another person here. I'm Pavitra Parameswaran from MCA department. Here, I want to say one, job market remains unstable after this lockdown, but it's not all bad news. Job seeker like us can be hired by some companies, continues to hire, like Amazon, Oracle, Microsoft, Dell. So we don't have to give up our seeking opportunity for this pandemic situation, and companies should focus of employee welfare also. Organizations should be take practical measure to ensure the safety of employees at the workplaces. That's what I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yes,
So let's go to Rohit.
I would like to add, as a group discussion participant, I would like to add a feedback with my input. I think many of the participants here was giving great points about job opportunities, and remote work. Remote work is going to increase, and it's going to increase job opportunities in some sector. In my view, I agree partially, but I also disagree that a lot of background noise. Can someone go on mute? Okay. Many of the participants are talking about the positive aspect of the COVID, in the sense that there will be a lot of remote working opportunities. At the same time, while I agree partially about it, I also disagree in the certain scenarios, because I think when the economy has gone bad, when the job losses have happened, how will the companies even have money to spend upon hiring new people? When they are not able to sell their products, when they're not able to generate revenue because of lockdown and other scenarios, not only about companies, even the street vendors, how will they be able to invest more and do it? So invest more and hire more people. So I think, in my perspective, there's also a lot severe impact, because the companies wouldn't generate that much profit that they used to do in a normal circumstances. So I want to place a point that there is a lot of negativity involved, but we need to know how the companies will overcome these challenges. So I want to add that point.
Thank you, Hari. That was a very good point that needs to be thought about also from a perspective of an organization, how they manage that losses and try to come back. I would add to that point, some of the governments are also trying to help the companies that are not doing well. Certain industries are being given some stimulus in order to bring them back into business. So I'd like to hear what other people's thoughts are on that as well. Let's go to Rohit.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hello.
Good morning. Good evening and good morning to the US guys. I partially agree with some of my participants, like Jayashree and Deepashree, and completely agree with Sir Hari, who spoke previously to me. There will be a serious decline in economic growth for both world and in India. Some of them were in this quarantine time, most of the people invested and started up new company. It will be in a boom state at this current situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Saran, Karthik, could you please share your thoughts? Saran, Karthik?
Maybe we can go for a few more people
Kumar.
and then consolidate the feedback. Yeah.
Sure. Any of the participants would like to summarize?
So I think, on the group of people who talked about COVID has a negative impact, I would like to summarize saying that many companies have lost their profit. Many companies have lost their channels to generate more revenue. They have to end up in cost cutting and let go of very good people who have been hardworking, who have dedicated themselves to the company, but because the company is not able to sustain their employment because of their low profit and low revenue, I would summarize on behalf of the team and the members who spoke that COVID has a negative impact. I would like to summarize that I'm scared, and I would hope that in spite of these negative circumstances that COVID has caused to the employment and job losses, there is a positive hope. But it's a lot more negative than positive. That's a summary I would like to place. Thank you.
Thank you, Hari.
Thank you.
So this round, I think we've completed this round. So just let's see if Subbu and Sunil would like to add some feedback.
So what we want to do is between three of us, we'll quickly take 2 minutes to give a joint feedback. So it's not to any one of
overall feedback. If any points you would like to share based on the current topic.
So we were given 30 seconds, right? So you have to fully use that time, 30 seconds. So most of the time, what we have seen is very short, 1-line, 2-line summaries, right? So before we go to the next topic, I want you to take 3 or 4 points. Like some of the points the other speakers may have covered. So that way you having more points written, and you could also give the same, for the same point, you could give a different viewpoint also. So that way you have something to cover your time. You don't have to use the full 30 seconds or 2 minutes, but you can still maximize how much you want to do. Again, yesterday, the day before yesterday, when we spoke, a lot of people were rushing on, talking too fast, right? As if they are trying to catch a train. I have to run now. I have to finish my 30. There is nothing to worry about, right? Take your time. As he said, you may not cover all 3 or 4 points. Even if you cover 1 point with clarity, slowly, the main point is whatever we are speaking, talking, our viewpoint, others has to clearly understand, right? That's the communication we have to develop. So try to talk as slow as possible, clear, and take some more points. Before I go to the next topic, I'll give you some time where I will give you prep work. Try to take some more points on the next topic. So we want you to take some of these feedback and then work on the second group GD. That way you can talk a little bit slowly and elaborate. Okay. Senthil, Srikant, could you add anything more, please?
Yeah, Senthil here. I can give some more feedback. So remember, whenever we are talking about the topics, as all of you have correctly understood, we have the positives and the negatives. It can be situations where you can talk about both, or talk about one, or talk about the other. In such this, like COVID is a very, very hot topic today in the industry, right? So it's very important to understand whom you speak to, right? So if your company is an IT company, make sure your focus is towards IT related discussions. If it's towards a healthcare company, make sure your discussions towards healthcare. If it is a manufacturing company, make sure your discussion is according to that. If it is just if you're practicing in your college, which I would recommend doing, make sure you practice with all these different scenarios, even personal. There will be a lot of situations where they are asking, what is the impact going to happen with your family? Right? Today, I learned within this COVID period in the past 3 months that my son can write with both his hands. So this is something that I never knew for the past 5-6 years. So being spent time with him, I see that he can write with both his hands. So these are some very, very interesting things that you can bring out. So make sure you understand the group, you understand the scenario where we are talking to, and accordingly make your comments forward. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Subbu and Senthil, for sharing your feedback. So students, you can take note of these points. I would also like to ask if it's possible to turn on video. I know we are requested for video. I'm not sure if your bandwidth is good enough to turn on video. Do you guys want to try that? So next one we can try with the video.
I think we should do. Okay. And I just want to add a feedback.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I found all the students prepared on the topic. They researched, they brought out some of the estimates with how much percentage it will impact a particular sector. I really liked students referring to other students' points and then supporting or counteracting their feedback or their ideas. And I also found very precise, like Logita Shri took a very good point saying that the impact differs for different sectors. So that's a very good point, putting it out there. And many people touched upon job losses and they mentioned about different sectors and they talked about remote workers. And I like the way how Padma Devi put it out as digital work to virtual work or remote working. So many of the students touched upon work from home concept, remote working concept, the impact to the medical healthcare industry and to the different sectors. And they brought out the statistics, reading from some article and reading some paper. They also told the source of statistics according to CMIE, according to Bureau of Labor. So they brought out the source, which adds the authenticity to the statistics that they presented. And those are all very good points. So I think overall the group excellently prepared themselves for the topic. They shared their viewpoints. And I would say that in the next topic, when when the students see that others are giving their viewpoints, they should position themselves whether they want to talk or against and give with a little bit more supporting points and add to the topic. So wonderful coordination by you, Srikant, Subbu, and Senthil for giving a wonderful feedback. You managed the topic and transition from one speaker to the other speaker very well, and the students supported it in a very good way. So I'm looking forward for the topic number 2 now. Thank you.
Thank you, Hari. So let us move forward to the next topic.
Thank you, Srikant. So the next topic is how to develop network and leadership skills, right? So what I will quote you some of the quotes that we have in this topic that will give you more points, and then And this time we want to give opportunity for whoever could not give their views in the previous topic. This time, Srikanth, we will try to give them first opportunity. So one of the things about networking, right? What is networking, right? So networking is not collecting contacts, right? Networking is about planting relations. So that's one of the big that you have to test, right? How this is going to help you to grow within the organization, outside the organization, right? Both in your official life as well as personal life. So that's very, very important one that you have to cultivate, promote, and work on it more and more, right? So that's a very important one. So coming to the second one, right? Again, these two topics are, you can give a viewpoint on both, or you can pick one and then see what you think as something that you have to grow, cultivate, and it's going to help you to grow organization. So the second one is leadership, right? I think Hari, in the last 8-10 sessions, all the mentors and other speakers, they shared their experience, right? So one of the quote is, a leadership attitude is caught by his or her followers more quickly than his or her actions, right? I think I like this quote. And one of the things that you can do, the second quote, which I'm going to use, is you can always remember this. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself, right? That's very important for you, right? And once you become a leader, then you are all about growing others, right? I think Senthil, Srikanth, and Hari touched this point very much, right? Even in GD, how we want to approach, how we wanted to add a point to others, right? So we want to take some of the feedback that we shared. Take your time, maybe we can give a minute, and if some speakers are ready, we can go ahead now. Takes 4 or 5 points on these two topics, and then give your viewpoint and elaborate, slow, and also take your time, right? That way you can add more points and take your time. Thank you. You all did well, and I'm sure you're going to, as we keep doing this, you're going to get better and better at it, right? So we all fully confident about this group, and they can grow, and you can also make others grow, where you can do these own sessions within among yourself. Pick a topic within each department, or it could be any common topic. We want you to promote more of this, do more of this, that way you can get better about it, right? So one of the things you do daily is, we all watch news, right? Daily, you could watch any of the BBC, other English news. So there are maybe 3 or 4 things that have happened on each day, right? You could yourself, okay, now I'm going to be a news reader. I'm going to be going to prepare myself 3 or 4 lines, right, on each topic. Then I'm going to record, as Senthil said, you can talk in front of the mirror, or Srikanth said, you can record yourself, play it. That will give you feedback. Oh, I could have done it here better. Maybe I should have been much more clearer here. So you could keep developing on this, right? That's the best opportunity. All of the speakers do that, cultivate that. If everybody else can do it, why can't I do it, right? That kind of a attitude can be built, but unless until you practice, you're not going to get better at it, right? So we all came in the same one day, right? So we didn't become big speakers, big all that, right? So we cultivated. As we grow along, you're going to get feedback from others. Let others speak, and then take their feedback, work on it, right? So let's do it. Second topic, and the same way, you'll be given 30 seconds, and then Srikanth will be basically calling your name, and you can do great. Thank you.
Thank you, Subbu. So on this topic, let us start with Haran Ajay. You can unmute yourself. Is it here? Madhubala P.
So thank you, sir. I would like to start with I would like to start with a quote: "Good, great, unstoppable. Whichever you want, you can choose. But if you want to be unstoppable, you have to make a commitment. There are still debates happening around the world telling whether a leader is born or made. According to me, a leader is made. If you want to be a leader, strengthening a relationship between your organization is very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Nabila.
Yes, sir. We can able to develop the leadership skills by improving the relationship between the workers and the leaders. We have to fulfill the requirements of the workers who are working below the leaders. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing.
I would say to Madhubala's point, she brought the distinction between workers and leaders very well. And I would say that in my view, I would not see people as a worker or a leader. I would say either a team leader or a team member. So by putting the word in a very constructive way, I would say I think my employees will become, or my direct reports will be more motivated to contribute to the team. So I would think that they are either team members or team leaders. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Can we go next to Preeti Pitambram?
Okay, yeah. If you are not able to hear them in a few seconds, move on. Yeah.
We'll move on. Can we hear from Usha Nandini? She's there. She's there. No, she's not. Okay. What about Vetrivel?
Sir. Hi, sir. I am Vetrivel from Triple department. Leadership skills to be very sincere in her part. Not only be the part of everyone can be the get the leadership. To be very sincere and share our resources. Like as you said, no, GitHub is very public place to share our resources to public, and communication plays a vital role for developing leadership skills, and to be a leader, to have a great positive thinker, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So whoever has not spoken in the previous GD, please you can send a message on the chat and you can speak up. So I'm trying to give a chance to everybody. Yeah, Nadia, could you please?
A warm welcome to everyone. I am Nadia from Information Technology Department. Actually, researchers indicates that successful managers spend 70% more time networking than their less successful counterparts, and that people with rich social networks and better informed, more creative, more effective, and better problem solvers than those with limited social networks. Actually, we should learn to manage conflicts that create between the workers and the employers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I'd like to add a point here relating to networking. What are the reasons why people need to network? One of them is to identify career opportunities. Second is to build their teams. Let's say you want people in the same field, then you want to find people, then there is possibility you can find them in the network. And also, when you are within an organization, you're only looking at within the organization what's happening. You want to know what's happening outside of your organization in the industry that you're working in. So to anticipate change, you want to have an outside view. So that is another reason people network. And also get an idea of what's happening in the industry is also another reason why you want to network. So those are some of the reason to network. And I think it will be helpful for any employee to network. And it starts from your college days when you want to network and start having it as a habit.
Right. And excellent point, Srikanth, right? So something to add on the same one. So this is where you have to give to take, right? So that's how, as I said, it's not maintaining contacts, it's building relationship. That's the only way you can collaborate more, achieve more success, right? And grow within an outside organization. So that's very important one that you have to cultivate. And you can start right now from, as you can start from these days, you can start building those networking that will going to help you achieve greater success.
Thank you. Can you hear from Mahashri?
Good evening, sir. I would like to add a point regarding leadership. A successful leader is someone who is not only managing his team and making others to achieve the goals, but also working along with them and having mutual relationship with them is something what a good leader requires. But networking acts as a great tool to communicate with the co-workers and other employers so that leader can become more powerful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing that. Can we hear from Arun?
Yes, sir. I would like to add my point that every leader be once a team member in his team. So he must be a good listener to his team, and every team member needs a good appreciation from his leader. It would develop the skills and it would motivate the team to coordinately work. And I want to conclude the point with Sundar Pichai's quote: as a leader, it is important to not just see your own success, but focus on the success of others. And as Dr. Abdul Kalam has also said that once a failure, a team leader should accept the failure. And if it's a success, the team members should accept it. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that very important point.
Excellent. That's one of the things I remember, Arun, excellent quote by our Abdul Kalam sir, right? So one of the things he learned is when there was a failure in one of the launches, his leader stepped in and then accepted, yeah, I'm going to take a responsibility for this mistake. So great point there. Thank you.
Can we hear from Karthika?
Karthika is a faculty. Go
Okay,
ahead,
thank you. That's what I thought. What about Kishon?
Hi, sir. I like to start my conversation by a quote said by Steve Jobs is, innovation distinguishes between the leader and their followers. When we are trying to improve the leadership skill, try to push away the negatives, drive the negative peoples away from our team and reject those ideas, brings the team spirit down. Recruit positive peoples. Same as you must avoid the unhealthy relationship, be sure open the door those who have provide their motivation and satisfaction to our teams. Appreciate the values, find out the importance for our teams and turns into the driving force for the motivation. Celebrate the small achievements also, little small achievements also. No matter what is it's a big or achievement or the small achievements, we should have celebrate. It is one of the great source of motivation. I like to add a point on network, developing a network. Uh, Stay focused with the right people always. Use social network always, and give and create a winning situation. Always be a winning situation and become a connector. It leads to a healthy network relationship with others. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Can we hear from Nandini?
Hi, sir. Actually, up to me, a leader must work among with his colleague. He must communicate with others, and majorly he have to make a perfect decision at a very right time. That is a major important leadership quality he must possess. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing. Your voice little broke up, so you can check your line. Can we hear from Nadia?
I think we just had Nadia speak about network.
Okay,
70%.
How about
network.
Vishwanath?
Vishwanath is faculty. Yeah.
Let's go to Vetrimail.
Yeah. I would love to hear from Logita Shri or Jayashri if they have some points.
Sure.
Yes, sir. May I?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
So first, I want to share my points from a leader's perspective. The quality of a leader is to develop a leader. That is my point. We should not assign the same work to the same person again and again in terms of projects, because only when we switch with different works, we can understand our teammates, and our teammates will be able to expose their talents, gain experience, and improve themselves. The second important thing I want to say is to trust our team members. Trust is like within us. Trust is what we express. We have to make people understand that you believe them and trust them completely. And one more thing I want to add on to develop network is that we have to open up. If we don't open up and interact with others, we won't be able to understand them, nor they will be able to understand us. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Jayashri, would you like to share something?
Yes, sir. Can I?
Yes, please.
I would like to start with the quote quoted by Kurt Grayson. A robust leadership network helps provide access to people, information, and resources. So from this, we can say that sincerity, honesty, and sharing resources plays a major role in leadership skills, and using the powers what they are possessing thoughtfully and communicating skillfully with all the team members collaboratively will lead them to a successful position. And in my perspective, in networking skills, it is based on quality, not on quantity, so that they can become super connectors, and improving in the communication habits would make them more socialized and interconnected with people. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you for sharing those important points. Hari, from a time perspective, are we good or?
Yeah, I think if there are a group of students who want to summarize a couple of feedbacks, we can do it, and then we can start the feedback session.
Sure. Would anybody like to summarize? Please raise your hand. Madhubala, please go ahead. You can summarize.
Okay, sir. To conclude, I would like to tell an important thing. A leader should know the strength of his own as well as the weakness of the others, and he has to able to be both determined and as well as friendly at the same time to his workers. He has to get out of his zone and try to work with others, and they should not feel him as a leader. They should treat him as a friend of their own kind. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to feedback from the mentors. Subbu, Senthil, would you like to add some feedback?
Thank you, team. That was a great session, right? We saw a great improvement from the first one topic to the second topic. I think this time you had more points to give in your speech, right? I think that is a good thing. And what I saw is a lot of people prepared well, and they quoted a lot of previous leaders, right? I think that's one of the things that we always use to help to your viewpoint, right? And the networking, again, it a lot of great points in terms of becoming super connectors, and then how to be a great leader. And I think you are did very well on the second session. I think more and more doing these kind of sessions among yourself, or we can promote more of the other areas. This will really help you to bring your viewpoint and then talk freely. And definitely I saw improvement. You were talking much slower in the second session, which is very good improvement. So you are already becoming a leader, right? You are taking the viewpoints, feedback, and then you're working on it to improve. That is a great one to cultivate, and we're going to see more and more of this in the coming months. Thank you. Srikanth, Senthil, Hari, please.
Yeah, Subbu, very valid points. I totally concur with you. There has been a drastic difference between how the students have represented themselves in the second topic. What I would like to comment upon is how all of you have actually related both the topics. Some situations, networking, leadership, both go hand in hand, and one without the other is like trying to snap without your thumb. Right, so networking and leadership is very important. Sometimes one leads to another leads to the other one. So it's very important, and I see that most of you spoke well and clearly and had very good points to make. Good job.
Yeah, thank you both Subbu and Senthil for a nice review. And I agree with both of you that we have seen a significant improvement from the first round, and they did their research. That's very apparent. Everybody had done their research, which is very nice. So you have a lot of good points to share. You had also used a lot of quotes from leaders, which helps you substantiate your points. So just like statistics, you are also using quotes, which is nice. And the point about quality and not quantity, which is very nice. You want to focus on quality of the network. And one thing I'd like to point out is to make it more interactive, what you can also do in addition is you can start talking about a particular person's point, and whether you agree with them or her will also make it more interactive. So that is something you can also add. Certain topics are like that, where you are more sharing information because those topics are like that. So you also want to make sure that you try to tune your conversation towards what is said by other people and either agree, disagree. That will make it more interactive. So that will be a good point. Overall, excellent performance by all the students. Thank you for your participation. Really appreciate it. And I hope you will continue practicing, like Subbu said, taking it to the next level and having it to the rest of the students. Some of the students may not have been able to participate in this session. So you can act as a leaders. So that is another trait of leadership, trying to inculcate that into other people and set up your own group discussions and practice it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Srikanth, Subbu, and Senthil, for facilitating a wonderful group discussion on two different topics. And you had given valuable feedbacks to all of our students. You highlighted some of the important aspects that they touched upon, starting with quotes and talking with statistics and the authenticity of those statistics, and how they modified their vocal variety and the tone of their speech and the pace of the speech. So you highlighted the importance of how to speak clearly, how to refer to the other speakers, show them respect of the other viewpoints, and you brought out the different group discussion points, aspects very clearly. So thank you very much for leading a wonderful session. I learned a lot. I'm sure the students learned a lot of what are the do's and don'ts that needs to be kept in mind when we do a group discussion. So wonderful. I'm sure as part of PSNA alumni and as part of the PSNA management and alumni association, we are very proud of all the students who took the time and took the courage to participate first. That's a great aspect to have. First, the leadership starts with participation, then contribution, then leading others. So it's a phase-wise approach, and all of you had shown that you have potential to become future leaders, and you are a leader already by participating in the group discussions. I think as you add more and more strong viewpoints by reading journals, by reading magazines, by reading books, listening to others, listening to other experienced people, taking a clue from there, and then expand your point. So all of that will be very helpful when you approach group discussions and excel in group discussion. I would stop the screen sharing for now. I would like to bring upon our speakers, in a video, and then we would just have a few minutes of Q&A conversation to wrap up the session. So we are right past 5 minutes after 10. So we'll probably have like 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A and bring out other viewpoints around group discussion. So if you can stop the screen sharing, and we can probably go back to some of the Q&A. So first thing, a question to you, Shrikant. In your experience of cybersecurity and your industry experience, who do you remember has come up with great viewpoints in a regular office conversation or in your personal one-on-one conversation? What struck you more that you are able to still remember them because they came up with that point? So what is your experience?
Definitely. Thank you, Hari, for the question. I remember one of my friends who was a colleague of mine. He had a very calm demeanor to himself, in the sense he was very experienced. He had a lot of knowledge in terms of the subject. At the same time, he had a very calm demeanor, as well as he was very down to earth. One of the leadership qualities is that, like everybody pointed out, is being down to earth and trying to be receptive. At the same time, you are a first follower before you become a leader. So that trait was exhibited by that person, and I learned a lot from that person. Basically, it is about trying to have an empathy towards what other person is saying, trying to understand. Listening is talking more than talking. You want to listen more. Half of the talking is listening, first understanding what the person is saying, so you can actually maybe even understand what they're saying even before you start communicating to them. So that is an important trait that I understood from it. Thank you.
Wonderful, Shrikant. I think I loved your point saying that to have a calm behavior, to be more authentic, down to earth, and also to listen to others' inputs before speaking too much. So those are wonderful points. Thank you for sharing. Yes, next, I would ask this question to Subbu. I think, Shrikant, your points also resonate with the book that I showed in the first half of the session, How to Win Any Argument. And it was talking about the calm behavior. And then it was also talking about the middle section of the book was talking about trust. I think the leaders in the organization trust people more, and then they trust the people ideas. So developing an aspect of trust, consistency, and authenticity of our viewpoints adds a lot more importance in the career. So Subbu, what are your thoughts on developing authenticity, developing trust, and exhibiting that trust with others in the organization?
Excellent, excellent question, Hari. Right. So the first thing is, when you promise anybody anything, right? So this will happen, right? So we all do. We are going to work in different organization, and then so many people are going to ask for things from you. This is where I said, first give, then take, right? That's how you build a relationship. That's how you build, right? So the authenticity comes first. If you commit anything to anybody, right, within the organization for any kind of particular task, make sure you think before you give the commitment, right? So that is a very, very important, right? Somebody is asking for something today, which you may have, but it might take you a little bit time to either prepare or find it. You might immediately say that, oh yeah, I'm going to give it to you today, right? So, but make sure you follow, take a note of your commitments, follow it daily, and then make sure if you cannot make that commitment, go back to them and then ask for more time. Is it okay? Can I get a little bit more time to get you this? Because when you promise something and then you don't deliver, or you don't even follow up on it, that creates a bad opinion relationship, right? Next time they you ask somebody something to them, they're going to remember it. See, that this is one of the things is, all commitments cannot be promised as made all the time, right? But you have to follow up. So this is how you build your trust, where you become a team player, where you give as well as take, and respect others' opinion and thoughts, right? So this often happens when we are doing solutions, right? Since as an architect, we always come up with multiple ways to resolve it. So one of the ways to know is listen to others, see what kind of opinions they are sharing, what kind of solutions they are giving for a problem. Make a note of it. Ultimately, as a leader, as everything boils down to how much an organization can spend for a particular problem, when we are going to break even, are we going to, is it a short-term solution or a long-term solution? Ultimately, everything comes to the pros and cons and how much an organization can spend. So your data gathering has to happen elaborately. Then as a group, you decide, okay, we made a decision to move forward with this based on these set of points, right? And follow up with your commitments and be a team player, right? That's very important, right? Help others to grow and you also grow and learn from it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Subbu. I think you made a very good point that help others grow, be a team player, trust others so that others can trust you more. So you made a very valid point, and it resonates with many of our experiences in the industry. Next, I would like to bring up on Sendil to have this question. Sendil, whenever I turn on TV, NDTV channel or any channel, CNN, I hear a lot of panel members talking very passionately with a lot of debates, hot debates and so forth. In today's discussion here, I probably did not hear that passionate, hot conversations. But everyone in life, we cannot always agree to others' viewpoints. There are scenarios where we will have disagreements. So Sendil, how do you think we should approach disagreeing with others? And how do we passionately bring forward our ideas and convince and relay the messages? So what is your thinking of knowing the audience, being passionate, and still be able to disagree with other viewpoints?
Thank you, Hari. Yeah, I've been personally involved in a lot of these planned, prepared speeches that end up with arguments, or we need to agree or disagree. The main thing that I would focus on is basically the audience. Who am I speaking to? What are they? What is their background? So some sort of knowledge about who is our audience, who are we addressing, and who are our fellow participants, right? You don't want to go into a debate preparing something without understanding who is the other participant. At the same time, when we have conflicts, when we have a proper way, or we feel very strongly that we want to disagree, I would typically start with giving some valid contradictions. Like, for example, if somebody says the Mumbai is the capital of India, we can easily, we all know that it's incorrect, and we can actually say that I think you might be incorrect, and you always give a point saying that, okay, as per Wikipedia or as per the government of India, New Delhi has been recognized as the capital of India. So you always be polite. You always have to understand that somebody had given a false statement, and depending on what you see in their reaction, right? So you have to understand their body language. If we don't understand their body language, it will be very tough for us to say if they are kidding, or if they'll take it offensive, or if they just don't want to hear things. A lot of our leaders in the country that we live in, especially the US folks, our leaders are not very well appropriate to give facts out. So we know that, even in media, not wearing masks, all those stuff. But when we try to object that, we can only object to the statement of saying why it is good to do it, rather than saying you should do it. So you softly say, I politely disagree to your mindset, and this is what is the reason why we have to do so and so things. Wear a mask, do social distancing. These are some things that we can go towards instead of negating what the other person said.
Thank you, Sendil. Thank you. That was a wonderful point on knowing the audience, having a viewpoint, and transition by saying politely, I disagree with your viewpoint, and transitioning our speech. That's a very valuable point to add. I would like to open this particular question to any of the speaker who is interested to answer this one, which is, how do we understand the concept of listening first before speaking? So how much listening first have helped you in your careers or in the conversations where you have to get a group decision? So how much listening is important than speaking more? Does anyone want to bring it up?
Yeah. So I will take one point, and then I'm pretty sure Srikanth and Senthil, I'll keep it very brief. So as an architect, we rely mostly on overall how and certain applications works, how certain architecture works, right? We may not be knowledgeable in everything that's going on latest. So we rely on our system engineers who own some of those applications to give their viewpoint. So this is where the listening comes mostly, right? So you reach out, you give the problem, you want to hear their solution. Okay, what do they think? How to solve this? So you're going to get many different viewpoints. So the first initial stages of data gathering, that's what we say, right? Okay, the preliminary solution is you are not going to get into a solution right away, right? You're going to evaluate multiple options. For you to evaluate multiple options, this is where your 2 years are going to be widely open. Listen, gather, then you put everything in paper on the pros and cons, as I explained, the cost aspect. Then you narrow down and then present to the leaders that this is what we think and these are the multiple options. So this will help you to listen to others. The more you listen to others, people are willing to talk to you, right? Where you don't interrupt and then where you give your own viewpoint. So that's the way I see it.
Thank you, Subbu. Very nice point. I would like to share an incident that happened when I started working as a first job in out of college directly. I was working for a company called Microland, where we were customer service engineers. We were servicing laptops. We used to go to a customer. So we were dealing with the executive who had a laptop. And I was attending this particular call. So I went there, met him. I told him I was just fresher. So told him this will not work. And he was trying to tell me something. I said, sir, this does not work. This is technically, this is the right thing to do. And then I came back and he was so upset and he called my manager. I told him, who are you sending? What is this guy? And all this stuff. So then we know that technically that is the right problem. And we told him, you will get a part, it will take time, etc. So the next day we went back and along with the manager. So my manager said, no, I will teach you how to deal with this situation, right? So all we did was we sat with that executive. He had almost half an hour of his story he wanted to tell us. So basically, his problem was the laptop, but there were a lot of other things related to that laptop, related to the issues that we were facing in the laptop, nothing related to our company's issue, but is related to his work. He wanted to share all that with us. So we let him share his thoughts, share his feelings, whatever it is about. It's about listening. So basically, we listened to him for half an hour of our time. It was just a half an hour of our time. At the end of the conversation, he felt so happy that there was somebody who was empathetically listening to that person, that he completely said, okay, you guys can take 1 week to fix this, come back to me with all that. So I learned the importance of allowing people to speak. Every person has some point of view, as well as people are. One thing there's another book I like everybody to buy. If not, we should definitely get it for everybody some way or other. There's a book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's an excellent book. It tells you about what are the important points in dealing with human relationships. One of the very important points that Senthil brought out in this group discussion, do's is talk to people by name.
Yeah, I think Srikanth's network has a problem now. So if I can, so now it's okay, Srikanth. Can you repeat your sentence?
Is it okay now? Yeah. So I was saying that How to Win Friends and Influence People is an excellent book that everybody should have. And in his book, he talks about how a name of a person is such an important word in every person's dictionary that they love to hear that word. If I say Subbu, I mean Subbu will be love to hear that word. Sinthil, right? So any person conversation doesn't mean even group discussion. In a conversation, try to use their name, try to listen to them first, their viewpoints, and that in itself brings you at a point where you come to win something. You're 50 to 60% already there because you already allowed that person to express everything. That's what I would like to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Shrikant. Sendil, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, sure, Hari. So listening is actually 90% of the work that we typically need to do. Talking is only 10%. I strongly believe this because, in this industry, in this age, everything is moving towards automation. Everything is moving towards robotic processing. You take a call, nowadays you talk to machines, right? We don't actually talk to human beings. Each customer service call that we have is actually to a machine. And if you see a lot of the sentiments that people have, machines won't be able to understand. And when you spend that 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to understand what your customer has to say or your family has to say, that adds a lot of value compared to what any other machine or technology can provide. So listening will help you a lot in your life, in your career, especially when students, you start as your life. Listening is about 90% of your learning. You have to listen, try to understand, give your thoughts, and ask questions. These are some things which are very important when it comes to interactions. It is not just a conversation because somebody talks and you just listen. It's not like that. You also have to reciprocate. You also have to give. Like how Subbu said, or like how Shrikant said, you always have to give back. But for giving back, you need to understand what you have got. So that is where it's important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sendil. So I'm going to ask Kannan sir and Argaminachi from our 96 batch alumni to come back around the close of the session in a few minutes. I will just ask them their viewpoint on the group discussion techniques and the final words for the speakers. But before that, I have one question for each of you. From your life story, I think Shrikant, you brought out the first page as LinkedIn and how we should establish as a brand. Now you can answer this question in English or Tamil, whichever way you like it. The question is, what is your brand? What quote or what inspiring words, either from your parents or from your gurus or from teachers, what quote has inspired you to grow higher in life? May I start with Subbu?
Yeah. So one of the quotes I believe is the change is only the permanent thing, right? So I've been hearing this for last 20 years, right? So in every organization, change often happens, right? In our lives, change always happens, right? It's not going to be the same. How do we adopt and acknowledge the change, take it and then work on it to make it better? And I also believe every process, whether we do within the family or within the organization, there is always a room to improve, right? So that is one of the things that you have to remember. It's not the same way you do things cannot be improved. Every process or every aspect of the process, there is always a room to change and improve, both in our personal life as well as in the organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Subbu. Sendil, may I ask you what are the quotes that define you and your life?
Very, very long answer, but yeah, I'll make it short. Always being uncomfortable has been my way of life. I always like to challenge myself. Even with learning my mother tongue, which I never did earlier, it was a very big challenge for me. And similarly, everything I try to learn. Even within this 15 years of experience, I am a leader, so-called leader for my team, but I still inculcate learning, be it learning about somebody, be it learning about something new. Learning is forever been part of my life. and always doing the right thing. You might be the only person, but doing the right thing goes a long way. You can actually sleep peacefully at night. So these two things are something that drives me day in and day out, doing the right thing and continuously learning.
Thank you. Thank you, Sendil. With that, Srikanth, you could say your quote that defines you,
Sure.
and then share the survey results.
Thank you. Thank you, Hari. So I would like to say I am definitely inspired by the quote, love all and serve all. Basically, whether it is professional or personal, you always want to be looking at other some point of view. You always want to be expressing. Every person individually are trying to accomplish the same thing. If you take what you are trying to accomplish is what another person is also trying to accomplish in different levels. So you want to always express that feeling of togetherness. You want to express the fact that you want to help everybody. And I think automatically, once you start, like everybody pointed out, once you start helping others, others are automatically helping you in some other ways. So what goes around comes back in some fashion. So you are automatically going to improve in your life by giving to others. So I think that is an inspirational quote that I would like to share. And also, other thing I would like to share is to be inquisitive. As an engineer, think about yourself. Think about yourself as an engineer. What are you expected to do? You are expected to be always inquisitive about things. You want to always explore. You want to always try to figure out how this works. Or as an engineer, that's what is expected out of you. That is why you have this rational thinking mind, that you keep on thinking about how to do it better, how to improve upon things in any organization. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be a machine, or it doesn't have to be electronics or anything. It applies to every single thing. How can you keep on improving? Be always inquisitive about things. So that helps you always stay current. Like Subbu pointed out, everything is changing. That's so true in IT industry. Everything keeps on changing. So you always be inquisitive. So that would be my closing statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Srikanth. So I would like you to start the screen sharing. In the meantime, Aragminachi, can you just conclude with 1 or 2 minute input on the group discussion? Any points that you would like to add? Meanwhile, Srikanth
Yes,
can bring up the screen.
I could see that this session is a very nice session, having different topics given opportunities to the students to participate and share their views, and they have to take their turn. In turn, they have to take their opportunity to present their views. And though they might not have initially some points, later on they will accumulate the points, and I could find some people were able to consolidate later. But when they have been given an opportunity, they have to be prepared to answer to the point. That is the thing they must practice. When a topic is given, as Srikanth told, 1 or 2 point very proper to the topic. If they have to share that point towards the topic in the group discussion. That skill they have to develop. And as I heard regarding the networking and leadership skills, I also wanted to add a point. While I was connected in the mobile, I could not unmute and join your discussion due to the connection problem. And now I have connected to the laptop, and I could join the discussion. Usually, as Srikanth told, networking is not just getting contact, it is building relationship. We have to develop relationship with the other persons by having joining into various opportunities. We have to grab the opportunities of discussion or forum, whatever it may be, and we have to build relationship with people. Then only any good thing can happen, and it will be useful both for our career or personal, whatever it may be. So network building and also leadership skills have to be a part and parcel of each and every individual. These are some of the points I wanted to add to this discussion.
Thank you very much, Meena. You summarized all the good points that the speaker spoke, and you added your valuable points. Thank you so much. Back to you, Srikanth, to display the survey results.
Thank you, Hari. Just quickly, I would like to point out it's really amazing that among the respondents, majority of them already have a LinkedIn profile. Very nice. Please improve your profiles and make sure it's current, and keep in touch with the alumni, and share also request to all of us. We will definitely be happy to connect to you. And I don't know about the other people outside of that. If you are passing the message to others, everybody who's watching, please do sign up with LinkedIn and create your profiles. And that's an important tool to network and that exhibit leadership, as well as to be able to be noticed by your potential recruiters and companies that are looking for you. Going to the next survey, I think that was just to know about people, and we had asked a question just to see if people are willing to talk to about a minute about their own place. So one thing, the reason for that question was we want everybody to be proud of where they are from. At the end of the day, you want to have a self-identity. Regardless of what you do, where you go, you want to have a self-identity. Just remember your roots. So you want to be proud of where you are from. So we wanted to just ask a question, would be willing to talk. And I think everybody was willing to talk about their place. So which shows that, okay, I think we have accomplished the goal of this group discussion. Everybody's open to talk and open to speak about things. So that was the purpose of that survey. And thank you everybody for participating in the polls, in the survey.
Thank you, Srikanth. Thank you for bringing the survey results innovatively and showing us the collective viewpoints of all the students and participants. And the survey results clearly tell how the students are open to discuss and how they can prepare and what they can talk about. So thank you. With that, I would hand over the stage to our alumni head and mechanical engineering HOD, Dr. Kannan sir, to share a few words.
Good evening, Hari. It's a really wonderful session. Even I understood certain things, how to win any argument. I had some points. I like the way of telling the importance of communication by Mr. Srikanth, story of Korean plane crash, that gave a very good overview about why we need a communication. Then the two topics what we have discussed, impact of COVID on job market, and also how to develop network and leadership skills, that went on well. Even though in the first group discussion, the students made it slower, little points, then they have made it better in the second one. And suggestions given by Mr. Subbu and Sendil were very nice. And as a faculty member of this college, the main issues what we are facing is today's children, they are not ready to talk in person. This I used to tell in many classes. If a lecture meeting is being conducted, after that any doubts or any clarification, they will keep mum. Simply they will keep mum. They are not ready to ask questions. But at the same time, if we are asking a question in our WhatsApp group, immediately they will respond. That type of attitude has to be changed by the students. So really this type of group discussions will make them. I'm wondering, our children are doing well in this group discussion. I really appreciate the efforts taken by the team. Yesterday you had a session, early morning. For you it was a very late night, I think. You had a wonderful training session to all our students. So that went on well. On behalf of our college and our alumni association, I thank the team for the wonderful support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And Subbu, Sendil, and Srikanth, once again, I sincerely thank on behalf of the alumni and college for bringing out your expertise and industry experience and sharing with all of us. The slides were great. Your real-time workshop was great. We learned a lot. Thank you so much once again.
And
Thank you
this
for
is
the
a start.
opportunity. Really appreciate the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you, Kannan sir. Right. This is a start, Hari. So we lighted the fire. Now all the students are going to take it, run the on their own, right? And then have the do's and don'ts of Sendil, right? That's going to help you, guide you, right?
Yes.
So and practice it daily, right? All the tips that we gave, do it daily. You will see the difference in next 4-5 months, right? That's an open challenge I'm giving, right? So as Srikanth said, he gave a topic. Talk about your hometown, right? That could be your next topic that you can do yourself. So try to do it in next within a month among ourselves. You set up your own and then try to do it. Okay, maybe you can say claim food from my hometown is the best, right? The hotels and restaurants are the best. You could take any of that and then give your viewpoints, right? That way it gives you more practice. You could keep taking small topics, local topics or local news. Do yourself among. That's going to help you to grow very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Subbu. So I would like to remind students that every weekend on Saturday morning, 7 to 8 US time, in India, it's 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. IST on Saturday. We have PSNA Toastmaster session where people are open to join. Students can join and they can improve their communication skills. As part of the session, we could also open it up to half of the session to be a group discussion, and they can improve their group discussion skills as part of that session. So if they want the WhatsApp group link, they can reach out to our Professor Kannan sir, Mechanical HOD, and also our English department Professor Joseph Raja sir. Both of them can authenticate the students and share the WhatsApp link if they are interested to join. So with that, I would like to hand over the stage to Ms. Kartika Ganesh ma'am to close out the meeting and with the conclusion. Thank you, Kartika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Srikanth, sir. You nicely explained about social media recruitment, the companies looking at Facebook, Twitter profiles while recruiting. Sure, this will help our students. Like nowadays, people used to post irrelevant things. Okay, this will, yeah, surely this will help our students. Sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving suggestion how the LinkedIn profile should be with lot of technical stuff. Importance of connecting with alumni. Thank you, Srikanth, sir. And Mr. Senthil, sir, many students are technically strong but unable to get through GD. You clearly explained about do's and don'ts, what are the do's and don'ts, the group discussion the people should carry. Also, you beautifully explained about how politely our conversation should be when contra arrives. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for conducting a real-time group discussion with students, and sure this will help them who have participated to gain confidence, and also other watching will get more idea how to face GD. Also, Mr. Subramaniam sir and Hari sir, you shared your feedbacks so that the students can work on it. And Subramaniam sir, you explained very beautifully the value of building trust, being a good team player. Where it was very nice. Thank you so much. And Hari sir, the questions you have taken to the speaker, really valid questions. Like many students will be having these questions in their mind. Thanks for taking these questions, sir. That will help our students to shape themselves. And like importance of listening, very nice, sir. And you ended up with inspirational quotes. It's really nice, sir. And Alagumi Nakshi ma'am, you beautifully explained about building relationship and leadership skills. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And the session was so interactive and interesting, and the students who have participated, done it very enthusiastically. Thank you, students. And now we are in the end of the session. I will go with the formal thank you note. On behalf of Alumni Association, PSNA College of Engineering and Technology, I thank all the participants, and I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. Srikanth sir, Senthil sir, Subramanian sir, Hari sir for the wonderful session. Thank you all. Let us meet in the next week's session. Thank you.
Thank you, and have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for spending Sunday with us. It's a Sunday is a especially they want to
Yeah.
watch movies, right? So thanks for spending
Yes.
that. That shows your commitment.
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Bye.